Good morning, everyone. You're probably wondering what's with all this dead silence. Well, believe it or not, I'm actually trying to contain my excitement for today. Reason being is today's March 1st, meaning for starters, I get to wear my green tie again. But also, more importantly, it's Rita's Day! I'm so excited. Rita's is opening today. I am so happy. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Okay, be right back. This thing over here, there we go. I just forgot that the device used to keep my Hot Ones notes on was on that chair, and I just threw that phone across the room. We're already off to a fantastic start today, aren't we? Okay. Oh. There we go. There we go. Ottoman right around here. That's where the center is. So, before I get into the excitement of today, as well as yesterday's Hot Ones episode, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. For starters, yesterday was very cold. Very cold indeed. Huge contrast to several days ago. I mean, I suppose February wanted to go out with a bang, and so it didn't. But that didn't put a stop to my day, because my high yesterday was, went to Elbow Room for dinner. As per usual, Elbow Room wings, the best in the area, no questions asked. And my act of kindness was I ran a couple errands for my grandmother yesterday. So, with all that said, let's get into this week's Hot Ones episode. If I can just pull up my notes for a moment. Yes, here we are. So, Finn Wolfhard was for those of you wondering, yesterday's guest was Finn Wolfhard, who has actually had a very productive several years. I mean, he's known as an actor, director, as well as he's in a band. And because of the fact the pandemic happened, therefore, between that, the SAG strike that happened last year, he was able to focus more on his music. Finn Wolfhard has been a very busy boy, which is good because that leads to all kinds of very interesting questions that Sean asked him yesterday. Let's see, what else? What they talk about? They talked about the difference between being an actor in creating a scene and versus a director creating a scene. And by a scene, it specifically meant to shock and scare an audience. Because, let's be honest, Finn Wolfhard been known in scary movies. I mean, he's going to be in the new Ghostbusters movie coming out in a couple weeks. So, and yeah, there is a difference. If you're an actor, because you're acting, you have to be disconnected from reality in order to portray what you're doing in the moment for that scene. As a director, though, you have no choice. A director usually is just so immersed because they have a set vision, and that vision could be, could actually be created provided that everything goes well. That's really cool. They talked about making music in the Vancouver state of mind. Basically, because Finn Wolfhard is from Vancouver, he's Canadian. And according to Finn, he said Vancouver is a place where a person could be bored and take a walk in nature and then find inspiration from there. That's actually a really thing. I suppose you can find inspiration anywhere, and as long as you can find any place that personifies nature, like a forest or something, yeah, you can find inspiration from there. That's really cool. They talked about the significance of a place called Neptune Records, and apparently there's this huge vintage poster collection, lots of first prints and therefore a lot of history. That's pretty cool. Oh, this is actually really cool. Because Finn was also in the first It movie that came out a couple of years ago, and this is actually true. Sean Astin is he got to pick his adult counterpart for It Chapter 2, and why he picked Bill Hader to do it, because he's a Bill Hader fan, but he thought, wouldn't it be cool if like Bill Hader was the guy who played my character as an adult? And I mean, that's really cool. I mean, as an adult myself, I really couldn't think of anyone who could portray me at the moment, or any child actor who could be me, I suppose. I do know this. If there was ever a movie about me, John Hamm is totally playing my dad. No question. Okay. Apparently it's also true that Bill Skarsgård can make his eyes go in, like, different directions. So, that's really cool. He talked about the most bizarre talk show appearance went abroad for Stranger Things, because Finn Wolfhard, also known for being in Stranger Things. But yeah, he's been very busy. Apparently, he was in Japan with some friends. He walked off the plane and was immediately interviewed for a very popular comedy show that was that's in Japan. Very popular comedy show. And Finn wouldn't let them follow him. He absolutely regrets it. So, okay. Fact or fiction? Was there an actual attempted robbery during the filming of Night Shift? And yes. Like, I believe the way that Finn described the movie Night Shift is basically it's this one guy who's getting robbed from his store. It turns out the robber is an old high school buddy of his. It's a short film. And as they were actually filming the scene, an actual real armed robber showed up and tried to rob the store. But both the fake robber and the real robber had like fake guns. But that's insane. I'm like, and Finn's like, let's keep going. Everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we can't film now. So, I think that's actually really fun. I think that's actually really cool. Let's see. He talked about the pivotal moment that developed his point of view as an actor versus being a child star, and therefore feeling like their only responsibility is to like hit their marks. And with that, Finn mentioned that he grew up having a great support system. Like, he actually didn't watch any of his early stuff. Like, the first couple seasons of Stranger Things, he didn't really watch. But as he's gotten older, now that he's an adult, he learns that there's so much more to everything that he's done throughout his career and what he's going to do later on. Basically, whether you realize it or not, there's always an opportunity to grow and learn. And I think that's really mature when you think about it. Very interesting. He talked about how growing up in Vancouver like fed his hunger to entertain, and it definitely had an impact on how he viewed things for filmmaking, because those really bad Twilight movies were actually filmed in Vancouver. He actually got to see like those trailers and stuff. That's actually really he actually got to see the movies being filmed. Like that's a sight that most people don't really get to see, but he got to see it, and that sort of like that sort of instilled a desire to try and entertain, and I think that's really interesting. They talked about the GOAT school field trip in Vancouver. There's actually two places: Science World and Britannia Mines. His favorite all-time Canadian athlete. And I had to look up how to spell his name. Is Roberto Luongo. So, okay, a hockey player. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is the bomb question. What makes Melody one of his favorite films, and how it encapsulates young love in an incredible way. There's also an incredible soundtrack, taps in juvenile nature. He also talked about if there's anything eye-opening about the making of the movie Deliverance, which he thought was cool that the cast did their own stunts. And, Burt Reynolds in that movie is cool, but his favorite Burt Reynolds performance is Boogie Nights, which is a role that Burt Reynolds hated. But that's actually not the interesting thing about this question, because Finn talked about the first time he and a buddy of his were watching the movie Deliverance. Because, it was late and they wanted to watch a movie and thought, that looks pretty cool. And then they're watching the beginning of Deliverance, and I'm not going to give away what happens in that movie, partly because it involves things that would be a little inappropriate for me to say on camera. But I will say that initially, Finn and his buddy thought that Deliverance was essentially an adult version of Stand By Me. Let's just say it takes a turn. It takes a very big turn. So there you go. He talked about a game that's most deserving of the silver screen adaptation, Crazy Taxi. Honestly, I never really shared this with anyone before, but when it comes to video game movies, yeah, I get it. Super Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie was the biggest hit of the year last year, which is awesome. I didn't see it because the Rotten Tomatoes scores kind of deterred me from it. But my point is, it's great that video game movies are slowly getting better and better. But honestly, if you want to watch anything video game related that's not the video game itself, why not just make it into a show? I would think the production value for making an animated show is a little cheaper than making a movie. I don't know. That's just me. And finally, what makes the movie Windy City Heat a classic? Talks about how, the guy is so mean-spirited, but he deserves it. He talks about how Bobcat Goldthwait plays himself, but he's all while talking in a megaphone. It's interesting because Windy City Heat is Sean Evans' favorite movie. So it's kind of a full circle moment in that regard. So, yeah, this is a great episode of Hot Ones. Finn Wolfhard. Very nice. Very nice. Very good episode. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got nothing bad to say. Really, I don't have anything bad to say about any Hot Ones episode, for being honest. But it is interesting to see, how different a guest can be and what you can learn from them. And that's why, it's one of the main reasons why Hot Ones is such an interesting show for me. But speaking of things that are interesting, let's get to the main reason why I'm excited today. There's a lot to be excited for this month. I know I talked in great detail yesterday morning regarding what's going on in March, but today is already going to be a good day. Watch, I probably just jinxed it, made it into a bad day. But, first of all, today is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. So the fact that March 1st is a Friday, you're already setting yourself up for success on that front. Also, it's March 1st. March is one of my favorite months of the year. Well, actually, I don't really have a favorite. I like all the months of the year, I should say. There's something good about every single month. There's something to look forward to in every single month. But, growing up, the first color I ever deemed as my favorite color, green. So, yeah, I'm already digging this month. I get the break. For those wondering, this is a very old tie. I got this before I went to training. I've had this tie for, well over 15 years. And you can see how it's, this tie needs to be, re-hemmed, right here. Because now, this is, more narrow and this is, wide. I need to see if someone can actually, re-hem this in any way. I'm sure someone can. If I can just sort of... Yeah, but I can't. Yeah. But I would wear this tie before every match when I was at Trinity Polling. This tie served me well, and quite frankly, I'm happy I still have it. And I'm glad I can use it now because it's the month of March. For the next 31 days and pretty much the remainder and the entirety of the remainder of Lent, I get to wear this tie. And it's awesome. Although it's going to be so funny too because March 31st is going to be Easter. And on the one hand, I'm going to be sad that it'll be the last day I wear this tie, but it's Easter. Like, if there was ever any other day that's not Christmas or my birthday that I should be happy for, it really should be Easter. But I'll touch more upon that when we get there. But of the things I'm looking forward to at the moment, bro, Rita's is opening today. Rita's, for those of you who don't already know, is my happy place. And I did touch a little bit on this yesterday, but I could go into a little more depth. I first learned about Rita's back when I was in college. I went to Gettysburg College in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And I had Rita's Italian Ice for the first time during freshman orientation. Basically, there was all these events that, help the freshman class get warmed up to the new, environment that they're going to be living in for the next 4 years. And after one of the main events was like this big barbecue, and Rita's was for dessert. Never had Rita's before. And they gave us like these little things of Italian ice, and they were good, but again, like these really tiny samples that again, not enough of a sample size for me. I did like it, but I didn't really think much of it. But everywhere I went, someone talked about Rita's at some point when I was in Gettysburg. And I actually knew where Rita's was. I never went. Not that I didn't like it, it's just I didn't have a car. And Rita's was actually a pretty far walk from where I lived on campus. Even when I lived in the factually closest place I could be at to where Rita's was, it was just too far of a walk for me. I just didn't really think it was worth it. And I guess Rita's is one of those things where, I'll have much respect for more than I like. Fast forward to when after I graduated from Gettysburg College, there's a Rita's location that opens up in Horseheads. And I went, and it was great, but I didn't really start going that often until opening day 2015. I believe Rita's was around for about 2 or 3 years before I started going weekly. And 2014, that was the first opening day I ever went to. Believe it or not, this is back when opening day was mid-February, right after Valentine's Day. It was under different management, but semantics. And I went, and it was really good. I got to go again. But then Lent happened, which we're in now. That's where we're now. We're in Lent. And that was the last time I ever gave a sweets for Lent. And my God, did I miss Rita's during that Lent. So I told myself, I'm never giving, no matter, I don't care how unhealthy it is. I don't care if it has any kind of repercussions later in life. I'm never giving up sweets for Lent ever again. 2015, opening day, went there. It was also, actually, opening day for that year was also on Friday. And I went every single Friday for years, up until Actually, you know what? I think I was going every Friday until 2020, roughly. Reason being was because, not just because of the pandemic, but since I started living on my own, I have to worry about, expenses, which you do. You got to worry about rent, you got to worry about food, you got to worry about, in one particular case, gas. And when it comes to going out to the lake in the summer, back when I lived with my parents, what I would do is I'd go to Rita's on that Friday, and if I didn't have the long run, because this is also back when I was marathon running, I'd stay home or immediately go up to the lake. Now, obviously today I'm going to be going on a Friday, but now I just find it easier for me to just simply go to Rita's at any point during the week. It could be Monday, Tuesday, or any day of the week. And then I will, it doesn't really matter now, but when it gets time to go to Cuca Lake, because remember, I would go to Rita's and then go to Cuca Lake, but that's actually quite a bit of, you may not realize it, but that's actually quite a bit of gas you're using up. So it saves me some money on gas and gas itself, and I'm still going weekly. It's just not Friday is all. But that's fine. As long as I make the time to go weekly, I'll go. I'm definitely going tonight, and the next time I go, who knows? I do know I'm in for a treat today. Just less than a half day away and I'll be there. I'm excited. I can't wait. I hope I see some friends there. I'm almost sure I'm going to see some friends there, or you don't know. Either way, honestly, this is about as good of a beginning of a month as a person can hope for. And I'm excited. I hope you all like this video. If you did, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video. For all you guys watching Joe today, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk, the channel will be here to lend it all the way back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.